Namaste and welcome once again to the class. So we're working on feet and ankles and also a bit of hands and wrists while we're at it. So if you'd like to lie down in your normal rest position and close your eyes. And when you lie down, be aware of your feet quite heavily on the mat. So make sure the soles of the feet are on the mat. And you can really let go into the earth. And then releasing the rest of your body. And just focusing on your breath and how that feels. And feeling your feet firmly on the ground and your thoughts loftively flying up into the ether. So just having your feet firmly on the ground. Body relaxed, just focusing on your breath. And how does your breath feel today? It's a reflection on how we feel, isn't it? If we're frightened or worried, the breath is not even, it becomes quicker. The more we want to be calm, the more the breath we slow down. Maybe make the exhalations longer or allow it to be longer rather than forcing it to be longer. So can you focus on that, just allowing. So if your mind allows the breath to let go, then your breath will follow. And you will become calm. In your body, do you have tension? Can you send the breath there? What about your arms and your hands? Your fingers? Can they be still? When we have agitation, the fingers start to move, don't they? And you release them completely now. What about your back and your tummy? Are they relaxed? Stretch out now, so stretching your legs, stretching your arms, bringing them back a little and out to the sides. And then we're going to come up to standing, or you can do cat on all fours if you don't want to do the sun salute. So, getting ready now. To the front of your mat if you're doing the sun salute, and the sun's coming out, and it's a namaste, And breathe in, stretch up and back, breathing out, fingers in line with toes, head down. Then thinking, right foot back, knee down, look up. Staying into plank. Breathing out, knees, chest, forehead down. Smoothly into cobra, down into dog. And breathe in, finger, right foot forward, in the hand, then the left foot. Breathe in, stretch up and back, hands into namaste. Breathe in, stretch up and back. Breathing out, fingers in line with toes, head down. Breathe in, bring the left foot back, knee down, look up. Retain into plank. Breathing out, knees, chest, forehead down. Breathe in into cobra, out into dog. And breathe in, left foot forward, between the hands. Breathe out, breathe out, right foot. Breathe in, stretch up and back. Hands into namaste. Breathe in, stretch up and back a little bit more maybe. Breathing out, fingers in line with toes, head down. Breathe in, bring the right foot back. Knee down, look up. Retain into plank. Breathing out, knees, chest, forehead down. Breathe in into cobra, out into dog. Breathe in, step forward right, between the hands. Breathe out left. Feet together. Breathe in, stretch up and back. And hands into namaste. Last one. Breathe in, stretch up and back. A little bit more. Breathing out, fingers in line with toes, head down. Bring the left foot back. Knee down, go. Retain into plank. Breathing out, knees, chest, forehead down. Breathe in into cobra, out into dog. Breathe in, big step forward with the left between the hands. Breathe out, bring the right one forward. Breathe in, stretch up and back. Hands into namaste. Get your breath back. We're going to sit across the leg with the, on the block. Have a little fiddle with the, with the feet. So can you bring your fingers through your toes? Okay, see how you go. I find this a bit difficult because I've got two toes. Little one. Can you get all your fingers through the toes? And that will help our dexterity of our feet, which we lose through wearing shoes and being on flat ground most of the time. And see how you go with that and how that feels. If you've got fat fingers and fat toes, it might be difficult. But, hopefully you can get there. Yep. And then place them down. See if you can still get that spread. So use your fingers to get a nice spread. Get the big toes to come towards each other a bit more. Have a stretch out of the feet, the heels and the ankles. So bringing your toes towards you in your Dandasana position. And see how that feels. Have a toe wiggle and a wiggle with the hands, because the hands also, we just work in regular ways of grasping and bending, and we really need to stretch out the hands and the feet. Also, I find it encourages my feet if I'm doing the hands as well, and often they start working together without you realising it. So can we do a fist and open with the hands and with the feet? And so it's harder with the feet, but it does work. And so a fist. So can you see that okay? Yes? And a fist and open. Really separate those toes. It's quite a nice feeling. Fisting and opening. Another couple of times. Really open. Really open. Okay. Now into across legs and flexing the ankles. So bringing your toes up. Really flexing those ankles a lot. If you can do half lotus, it's quite handy to have it there and flex, but only if you do that easily. But you can still do it with legs crossed, or you can do one in front of the other and do it, that's fine. And have that really flexing movement, then bring them up towards you. So this is ankle movement, isn't it? Then the toes on the mat and the heels off the mat, and then you can feel this right the way up to the calves, can't you? If you start getting cramp in the calf doing that, then you need to go back to flexing again, and that will stretch it out. So how about lying down and doing circles with the wrists and the ankles? You need to lie down for that. So put the feet in a little bit. So 4 times one way. And 4 times the other way. And once again, 4 times one way. And you might get a bit of clicking, and after a little while, that clicking will go because you've lubricated things a bit. Okay, and then bring the knees in, bring the forehead towards the knees, and chin down. Can you come up from there? And stretch out the legs again. Have another wiggle and a stretch, and then we're going to do dog down to dog up. Okay, so I'm just going over here. Do that. So in your normal down dog position. So the first thing we have to do is tuck the toes under, isn't it? So tuck them under well. Just lift the knees a little bit first, and dog with the head down, but with the knees bent. And then come down, because this is really spreading and the toes here, isn't it? Getting this nice bend of the feet. So should we just do that again? So make sure the backs are in neutral. So you don't let the tummy go or lift up too much either, but there's a neutral position here, the tummy and this will be under control. And just lift. So the tummy will go in, so it's the tummy work. Really spread those fingers. The middle fingers in the middle, and the thumb and all the other fingers are stretched away from each other. Feel how that's impacting on the shoulders and arms, and maybe you want to change that position. If the knees ache, you need to change the position or go a bit straighter or whatever. Then we're going to dog nose. Keep the head down. And then we're going to go into dog with the head up. So coming forward, so toes still tucking under, chest forward, shoulders back, and looking straight ahead. And can you bring your heels back a bit more? Tummy working. And again, those toes tucked under, aren't they? And then breathe in and go breathing out back to dog with the head down. Now look at your toes. Can you actually wiggle your toes in dog with the head down? Or try and lift the toes. Try and lift the toes. If you want to change where your arms are, that helps you. If you bring your arms a little bit more towards you, you can probably you would probably lift at the toes a bit more, quite a lot more actually, as long as your back feels alright. And once you've done that, come a little bit more forward and see how that works. And then lift the knees a little and see what happens to the ankles. Once more, to dog with the head up. So you may need to start moving your feet back. Chest through, shoulders back, legs nice and straight, the heels back, the tummy's under control, the thighs are not sagging here, because then the arms start to go, don't they? So, one more. Dog with the head down. Nice stretch in that. And then you can go into child. And forehead down, hands either side of the feet into your child. And release. And of course there the front of your feet are down, aren't they? So they go through that opposite stretch through there. Then coming up from there, sitting on your heels, bringing your knees together from there, then coming forward and coming up to a toe balance. So you can, I'll come to the front. Right, so you're in your toe balance. Come to the front of your mat in case you fall back when you do this. See if you can balance on those toes. If you bring your hands out to the side, take this foot off and stretch it forward and feel what that does to your toe. Does it make any difference? On the other side, stretch the leg out. You can stretch the other way, can't you? From the doing the toe balance. You might feel you can let go a bit. Back to the toe balance. And can you lift the spine? So the toes really need to be spread as much as you can, because that's all you're balancing on, isn't it? So can you start to lift the spine more, lift the chest more, and stretch the arms forward, and lift the hands so that the wrists are working. Then bring the hands down to opposite movement, and then stretching the wrists, and then it starts to get hard on the ankles, doesn't it? So just come and sit down, back to Dandasana, and the hands out, and then push bring your hands right behind you, and then we'll come forward with the hands, so you come into a squat with the heels up. Can we stand up from there? It's here, Tadasana. Have the feet together, have the big toes together. Do this with your fingers. Spread the other toes away. The heels can be apart a little bit, because I think that helps. Now, pressing the big toes down, can you spread all the other toes and be in a good Tadasana? Let's have a stretch up of the arms. Separate the fingers, and with the big toes touching, separate the toes out. And I really think it helps when you're doing the toes to actually do the hands as well. It's a nice open feeling with the hands, because you're stretching up, the tummy is working in and up, isn't it? The collarbone is lifted, but not the shoulders, up to your ears. Keep them away from your ears. Any higher can you go? Let's do a little side bend over, just release the arms. A little bit over the body, but firm on the feet though. So you can really go a bit more to the side if you can, but firm on the feet and legs. Then stretch up. Then go the other way. How firm are you with those toes really spread, the underneath of the feet spread, a good footprint on the mat. You might be able to go a little bit more. That's good work on the spine. And then coming up, stretching again, and interlock the fingers and turn up. So then we're turning up. And the palms up to the ceiling. What are the fingers doing? Are they trying to be kept in? Breathing. And breathing out, come down. Bring the hands forward, change the interlock of the fingers by moving the other thumb on top And then all the fingers, breathe in, breathe out, stretch forward and up. You can feel the tummy working.
20 minutes gone.
Spread the toes. Spread the toes really well. And then undo the hands and spread the fingers and start to bring them down. And then open the chest, fingers spread, bring the feet mat width. Try and keep those toes spread, so press the big toe down and stretch all the other toes out. And lengthen the arms out, shoulders down, and turn the palms up and then down, just by using mainly the wrists. The toes still spreading. The sides of the feet in line with the sides of the mat. And how are we doing turning? So this is minimum turn of the arm, more turn of the wrists, and stretching the fingers. And all the way down. And bring the feet together and into Namaste. Breath. Now we're going to do a wide leg forward bend. Grab a couple of blocks, you've got them handy, and have them in front of you, either that way up or the lower way. That way. So we're going to do wide legs, and the feet are facing forward, spreading the toes as much as you can. Okay. So, first, standing nicely, compact hips here, tail down, lift the spine. Let's just have a lengthen up first, stretch our sides a little bit more one side, the other side, both sides, and then hands on your hips. Then we're going down into these, so trying to keep the bottom lined up with the heels as much as you can, coming forward and placing your hands on the blocks about shoulder width, looking up first of all, and have that neutral spine that's stretching forwards, and then maybe stretching a little bit more forward, keeping your bottom in line with the heels as much as you can. If it's comfortable for you to bring fingertips on, and still try and lengthen and stretch your back, okay, that's fine, I'll leave that up to you. And then to walk forward without altering the legs. Now, if you can reach your toes with the legs straight, that's okay, that's good. But it's still good to bend your knees a little. That's fine. So I want you to grab your big toes in the thumb and first two fingers and bring those big toes a little bit towards each other, spreading the other toes a bit. And not rolling your feet in. Make sure the outsides of the feet are down, and think about your footprint, and then maybe come a bit forward, then maybe bring the hands in a little bit and bringing your hands through and dropping your head just a little bit, so you get a nice leg stretch, and still feeling the toes are spreading and you keep your footprint. Just holding it there. Letting the head release. And starting to walk the hands forward. Now, can you place your hands on your hips with a nice straight back? Breathe in and come up. And we're going to sit on the mat now again. We're going to do Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together. And start to walk towards your heels. Now, are your feet evenly together? That little gap for your instep. Bring your hands behind you so you can lift your spine a little bit. Now press the feet together. Lift your bottom slightly, a little bit, so you're back on your hands. And then your knees will go down. But you're not, because the groins and the thighs will release. Then bring your bottom down. And see how that goes. If your knees are up too high, you can bring your feet a little bit forward. And see how it goes. Do you want to have another go at lifting the bottom and really releasing in the groins and the inner thighs, and the knees will go a little bit more. Okay. Then can you bring all your toes back? That little toe, mine doesn't want to do that. And so there's as much space as you can get in the front here between the toes. But the mounds of the toes here are together. I hope you can see that. The heels are together. And you're just bringing those toes back. Then bring them towards each other. Then bring the tips of the toes towards each other. And so there's a bigger gap for the instep. Then bring the toes together again. And then open the book so that the outsides of the feet are the spine, and then you're opening up your feet and reading that book, and then bring your palms. So move your hands a little bit forward and your arms. So the arms are pressing on the legs, the lower legs a little bit. You might be able to sit up from there. You could do your hands chin mudra here, and then try and lift the chest and bring the toes away from each other, and then together, and then open the book a little bit. See what the toes do on their own. Okay, and then bring your knees together, feet together, and then lying down, carefully here. Bring your ankle to your knee and spread the toes that way, and bring this knee back so the hips are getting a bit of a stretch. And then change, so across the left over the right. Relax the foot. Wiggle the toes, both toes. Wiggle the hands. And lift the toes that are on the mat. So you've just got your heel on the mat. Again, and do that, lifting the heels away, spreading the fingers now, bring your arms out, shoulders down, and again the other leg, spreading, working the ankles, and then placing the feet on the floor, walking them in towards you, feet together, and lifting the heels and then pressing them down. Lifting and pressing them down. Bring the knees in towards you. Have a little rock side to side. And just cross your ankles. Interlock the fingers. And we cross them the other way. Place your feet on the mat and do a line twist. So bringing both knees over to the right. So your soles are off the mat. So you can lift this left hip a little bit and lift the left arm behind you. So you're almost going over to the right side but not quite with the body. Okay. The soles are off. The back of the hands on the back. And then change to the other side. So, centre. Knees over, then bring your feet over so your soles are off the mat, but the rest of your foot is on the mat. Then start to bring this right arm back behind you, bent. Then start to lift the hip off, so you're almost turning to the side. If your knee feels any pain, you might have to change where the knee is, or perhaps it's too bent, or have a strange ankle, angle or anything. And then roll just a little bit, and that is quite a nice stretch. Going down, and releasing there. And just have one short forward bend, so coming up to sitting again. And in Dandasana. The feet back, again spreading them, spreading the hands, stretching up, bringing the flesh, make sure the flesh to the bottom's back. And breathe in and lift, and yeah, over, okay. And can you lift the feet a little bit more, lifting up and folding over into your forward bend, just release. Breathing in, breathing out, letting go, but the legs working, the feet working, the rest of the body letting go. And then breathe in and come up and stretch up. Breathe out, bring the arms down, and get ready for Shavasana now. So, go into your comfortable position, make sure you're going to be warm enough, etc. And lying down in your Shavasana. Now you can do this with your feet on the mat instead of stretching the legs out if you feel like it, and you can relax. You can still relax, or the other way is to have the knees in and the feet out. That's quite nice for relaxing for the back, and then you're feeling the ground again with your feet. So see how that feels for you. And check that you're lying evenly on your mat, more or less. Walking the shoulders down and relaxing the arms out and letting go. So you can still feel that if you've got your feet on the mat, feel the footprint on the mat, and the knees are straight up, rather than being out of anything. And then releasing in the pelvis and the hips, tummy, ribs, chest. Make sure the shoulders are down away from your ears, release them. The arms are comfortable, and the hands. The palms of your hands very, very soft. And as the palms become soft, the fingers will curl in on their own. This is really about doing nothing. And feel release right through to the fingertips. Imagine empty gloves. And you will let go. And the arms are released into the earth. Shoulders. Ribs and chest. Back of your head. Let your eyes sink back. And go inwards to your sockets. Become soft. Your facial muscles soft. Your mouth. The corners of your eyes. Your ears. Forehead, your brain. You're feeling calm, peaceful, still. Start to move your hands and your feet a little bit. Stretch your legs out. Carefully stretch your arms back and stretch out. And then bring your feet back on the mat. Bend your knees into your chest and come up. Coming up to sitting in your block again. Cross your legs the other way. Off here. Got a little story to read you. So sitting up nice and tall, and this is called Heaven and Hell. Heaven is the decision I must make. A samurai warrior came to a Zen master and commanded him, "Teach me about heaven and hell." The master looked at the warrior and laughed, ridiculing him. "Why would you think I would waste my time teaching an ignoramus like you? You are an uneducated buffoon." The samurai, severely insulted, began to breathe heavily and grew red in the face. Furious, he drew his sword and lifted it to chop off the master's head. "That, sir," the master interrupted, "is hell." Immediately, The warrior was overcome with humility. In deference to the profundity of this lesson, he fell at the master's feet and began to thank him profusely. And that, sir, continued the master, is heaven. Heaven and hell are not eternal dispensations that await us after we die. They are states of mind we experience even while on earth. Whether we live in ecstasy or torture depends not on an outside agent, but on the thoughts we think and the attitudes we hold. Love is the door to heaven, and fear is the path to hell. At any given moment, we hold the key that will unlock either door. The choice is yours. So your mantra for this week is, I open the door to heaven with the key of appreciation. Namaste.